Hello, everybody watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 21 of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the LifeLock.com 400 here at Michigan International Speedway, as we're getting set for another 30 laps here at Michigan. We were at this track the second race of the season, so we're back once again at Michigan. But before we take a look at the starting lineup, let's take a look at the top 10 in the point standings coming into the race today. So after Old Spice on Wednesday, Rob Evans' points lead continues to grow as he leads by pretty much a full race at this point over Jessica Shelton. Third is Dylan Poteet, fourth Cole Deaver, fifth is Trent Dunham, sixth is Jake Baskinger, seventh James McLeod, eighth is Jonathan Zorley, ninth Caleb Kilburn, and then 10th Matt McIntyre. So that is how the top 10 in the points look coming into the race. After today, we only got 15 races left in Season 6. But let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row, we have Johnny Gardner and Jake Rogers. Top 10, Charles Sanford is on the pole for today. Starting next to him is James McLeod. Row 2, Seth Cole, Cody Lamas. Row 3, Joshua Collard, Anthony McCrory. Row 4, Jordan Forbes, Zachary Fitzwater. And then row 5, Dylan Jacobs and Matt McIntyre. Let's get the command to fire engines for the LifeLock.com 400 at Michigan.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers now on the racetrack for their one pace lap here. Now, this race is going to be really interesting because if I'm correct, I believe I upgraded the pit frequency for this race, so we could see potential pit strategy all race long. That is, if we are green the whole way through. Of course, if cautions come out, it's bound to happen that some of these drivers will end up pitting during the green flag runs. But of course, after this season, we will only be going to Michigan once a season, starting in Season 7. Does the word season make sense at all anymore? But nonetheless, the schedule for Season 7 is going to look very, very different than what we have had in seasons past. And in fact, at the end of Season 6 will be the announcement of the official roster and schedule for Season 7. So once we get through the finale at Kansas here in about a month, we're going to be getting quite a lot of information dumped on our laps for next season. But anyways, boogity, 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 it's time to go racing. Charles Sanford leads the first lap, and it was all from using the outside lane off of turn 4. So it's almost similar to what we saw here last time we ran this track, where the bottom lane gets the bigger runs in turns 1 and 2, but it's the outside lane that gets the runs in 3 and 4. Is watch Cody Lamas here. Of course, it also depends on draft as well. If you have a car behind you given a little bit of that aero slipstream, it can really help you get an advantage off of corners. And Lamas is keeping up on Seth Cole on the outside, and even James McLeod trying to use the middle line to make moves. Doesn't quite work out for him as he slips back a few spots. Anthony McCreary gets the wall, and we just got a crash. Oh, we got a big wreck back here. The first car I saw get sent around was that car, the 99 of Caleb Kilburn, as they continue to run into one another back here. Caution comes out for the first time today at Michigan, and at the line, Lamas actually got around Sanford, so Cody Lamas has the race lead for now. But yeah, big multi-car crash off of turn 2 is what got all this started, and I saw the 99 of Caleb Kilburn. He was the first car that saw get sent around, but I got a feeling that all that happened because cars got the wall and come back down onto the racetrack. So let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Michigan. Well, here's a look at what happened. So they're 4 wide, almost 5 wide in fact, but right there Tim Fiegel gets the outside wall, comes down into both Caleb Kilburn and Melissa Alexander, and that's how this whole thing gets started. A couple of hard hits given into that mess, as a lot of other cars end up just scraping each other, but then you see Jessica Sheldon, Emmanuel Hardnett, Joshua Sekuli, Michael Norman get involved. Logan Bradley barely scrapes by his teammate Caleb Kilburn up there. James Qualls actually managed to get through, and I think even Carson Gum got through the mess too. But then with James Qualls, he ends up getting a little bit of a ding on the front end of his race car whenever Emmanuel Hardnett tries to come back up the racetrack. And then right there, just a little touch from Qualls, but nothing to really give the 70 car any damage. But we're going to have quite a few cars that are going to be pretty much off the pace for the rest of the day. But I don't know about any cars that will be out of the race, maybe 1 or 2. But we're about to find out as we're going to take you to the restart here at Michigan. Well, 4 cars are pretty much done for today, and they include Caleb Kilburn, Tim Fiegel, Emmanuel Hardnett, and Joshua Sekuli. Right now, the other driver that would be in the bottom 5 is Trent Dunham, but we'll see how it all plays out. And speaking of how things are going to play out, already the pit strategy has begun. The top 3 elected not to come to pit road under that caution, so we're going to see how all this is going to work out. But Jordan Forbes, for now, is the race leader. Second, Matt McIntyre. Third, Rafael Leduc. Fourth, and the first car out of the pits was Cody Lamas. Fifth is Charles Sanford. Sixth is Seth Cole. Seventh is Joey Parkhill. Eighth, is Joshua Collard. Ninth, Dylan Jacobs. 10th, Jonathan Zorling. 11th, James McLeod. 12th is Cole Deaver. 13th is Chris Dollarton. 14th, Kyle Matthews. 15th, Anthony McCreary. 16th, Zachary Fitzwater. 17th, Benjamin Miles. 18th, James Shelley. 19th, DJ Curtis. And then 20th is Phil Parker. 21st, Cole Baker. 22nd, Dylan Poteet. 23rd, Jake Rogers. 24th, Johnny Gardner. 25th is Jake Baskinger. 26th is Jay Jefferson. 27th is Bradley Zorgdrager. 28th is Carson Gum. 29th, Dylan Young. 30th, Rob Evans. 31st is James Qualls. 32nd, Logan Bradley. 33rd, Jessica Sheldon. 34th, Michael Norman. 35th is Melissa Alexander. And then 36th and last on the racetrack for now is Trent Dunham. And we're getting ready to go back to green here at Michigan. Green flag waves, and we're going to see how long it's going to be before the 77, the 14, and the 09 would have to come into the pits, because remember, they are the only ones who did not go into pit road during that caution. Right now, Matt McIntyre took the race lead from Jordan Forbes, but he's on older tires, as Cody Lamas and Charles Sanford, who were the first two to come out of the pits with their fresher tires, are going to come into play. Maybe, I don't know, Matt McIntyre, he's holding his own on the outside and is actually going to hold them off. Very impressive run right there for the 14 of Matt McIntyre on older tires, running the outside lane, holding off two cars on the bottom in a draft who are on fresher tires. But remember, here in turns 1 and 2, the bottom lane for the most part gets the bigger run. But right there, I don't know, maybe running older tires on the outside line gives you an advantage, because Matt McIntyre is doing very, very well at holding off those fresher tires of Charles Sanford and Cody Lamas. And hell, even LeDuc and Forbes are actually keeping up fairly well in the top 10 on those older tires as well. But next time by, it'll be 20 to go, and Charles Sanford finally now going to go by Matt McIntyre and take the lead back. But Matt McIntyre, man, he's keeping up very, very, very well with those older tires, and now actually looking to try run a lower line than Charles Sanford to try and get some of that clean air on the front end of that race car to get some momentum going. But doesn't quite work out just yet, as it's now less than 20 laps to go here at Michigan. Keeping an eye on any slower cars, and looks like Trent Dunham and Jessica Sheldon are the two for sure slow cars on the racetrack. Melissa Alexander, I'm not sure, or if it's just from her losing the pack up here. But back up here at the front, Charles Sanford holding off Matt McIntyre by a quarter of a second on the racetrack for now. But because of the higher pit frequency, you gotta wonder, how long is it going to be before all these drivers have to come into the pits again? Especially if we stay green from here on out. Cody Lamas, who was the leader at the caution being waived, right now running in third as he's losing time to those top two up ahead, as it looks like perhaps McIntyre and Sanford might be trying to do a bit of a tandem, even though they are 2/10 separated on the racetrack. That, or just Cody Lamas, whatever adjustments they made to that race car hasn't kicked in yet. And even Rafael LeDuc, who was in one of those three that stayed out on the racetrack during the first caution, he's trying to actually now try to go underneath Lamas for that third position, but Lama's still going to hold him off. Now, the thing of it is, if Lamas, Forbes, and McIntyre make it through to lap 16, then all they would have to do is pit once, and that would be it. And everyone else, I believe, would still have to pit one more time. So, the 14, the 09, and the 77 may be in the catbird seat, although I may have spoken too soon, as here comes the 14 and the 09, but Forbes is actually going to be the one to stay out an extra lap. As look at this massive hornet's nest. A massive group of cars. So this is starting from Joey Parkhill, who's currently running third, all the way back. Well, it actually goes on throughout the rest of the field, but they are 4 wide, almost 5 wide at one point. And Dylan Jacobs barely scrapes the wall, but still keeping up. But yeah, look at Jordan Forbes. He's going to try and pull off one of the biggest gambles I have ever seen. And he's actually, unfortunately, going to have to stay out another lap because he's stuck on the outside line, can't get to the pits. But this might work out for his benefit if he can maintain himself on the racetrack and get to the bottom in order to get into the pits, because McIntyre and LeDuc have already gone into the pits and are actually just coming out of the pits now. So Jordan Forbes could be the one in the catbird seat to potentially win this thing on fuel mileage, because he has yet to come to pit road, and now he's finally going to get that opening, finally get to the bottom, but he's holding up quite a lot of cars. But let's watch and see if he can make it in without any problems, and he does. Jordan Forbes makes it 15, almost 16 laps without pitting. And Michael Norman, looks like, is that Phil Parker? Yes, it is, who also joins into coming into pit road. The rest of the field has a good 3 to 4 laps more to go to try and stay out before they would have to come into pit road for themselves. As Charles Sanford, I don't know, he's slowing down. Is he coming in this time? Oh man, that perhaps throws the strategy the 14, the 09, and the 77 had pretty much out the window, because they all pitted a lot sooner than everyone else did. But there's still a few other cars who are staying out more. And that's Anthony McCrory now in the lead. And then you got Jake Rogers, Jay Jefferson, Logan Bradley, Johnny Gardner all staying out another lap. But you got to wonder who is going to cycle around as the race leader. Could it be the 14 of Matt McIntyre with Rafael Leduc, considering they were pretty much in the pits by themselves, whereas everyone else had to come in as a group? Let's watch Charles Sanford, who came in as the leader with this big group of race cars. Does get out first of the lead lap cars, because Jessica Shelton is on the verge of going a lap down, or might already be a lap down. And you got to wonder if she's going to be holding up these guys. But now it's side by side between Leduc and McIntyre, but McIntyre going to get the advantage to hold him off. But let's see if he can cycle around. I don't think he's going to be able to right at this moment, but I think he's definitely going to be faster than those guys. As McIntyre approaches the back bumper of Cody Lamas, but Charles Sanford might cycle around as the leader. Let's watch these cars, these final 5 who now come to pit road and finish their stops. Yep, Sanford does cycle around as the race leader. So actually, let's try and do a full field rundown as best as we can, considering we're almost at 10 laps to go here at Michigan. But Charles Sanford, for now, is the race leader. Second, Cody Lamas. We got a battle for third between Matt McIntyre and Rafael Leduc. Fifth, Kyle Matthews. Sixth, currently, is Seth Cole, I would assume. Seventh, is Joey Parkhill. Yep, that scoring just finally sorted itself out. Looks like 8th will now be Cole Deaver, 9th Anthony McCrory, 10th Jake Rogers, and then 11th for now would be Jay Jefferson, 12th James McLeod, 13th Dylan Jacobs, 14th Michael Norman somehow, 15th Phil Parker, 16th is Dylan Poteet, 17th is Logan Bradley, 18th Benjamin Miles, 19th Jake Baskinger, 20th James Shelley, 21st Johnny Gardner, 22nd Bradley Zordragger, 23rd Jordan Forbes, 24th is Joshua Collar, 25th James Qualls, 26th is Jonathan Zorling, 27th Dylan Young, 28th DJ Curtis, 29th Zachary Fitzwater, 30th Rob Evans, 31st is Cole Baker, 32nd Chris Dollarton, 33rd will now be Melissa Alexander, 34th Carson Gum, 35th Trent Dunham, and then a lap down, and 36th is Jessica Shelton. Cody Lamas actually takes the lead back from Charles Sanford, and Sanford trying to hold off Matt McIntyre, Rafael Leduc, Kyle Matthews. So it looks like the race is going to come down, unless we get a caution. It's going to come down between one of these five, and four, or actually no, three out of those five are Retro Racing Enterprise teammates: Sanford, Leduc, and Matthews. Charles Sanford tried to run the bottom lane to go around Cody Lamas, but doesn't quite get the run, as now Matt McIntyre going to try and go underneath the 03. Less than 8 laps to go here at Michigan. And like I said, it looks like it's going to come down to the top 5 to duke it out for the race win, unless a caution comes out to get everyone bunched back up. But I don't think that's going to happen. Still side by side between teammates Leduc and Matthews. This is for the 4th position. Let's see who's going to get the bigger run off the corner. It looks like Matthews somehow gets the bottom lane to kick in off of turn 4. Back up here at the front of the field, Cody Lamas still leading the way, but just barely over Charles Sanford. But now Matt McIntyre actually going to get drafting help from Kyle Matthews to maybe get a run on the bottom underneath the 03 of Sanford. But Sanford is still really, really strong on the outside line. But now it's going to be 3 wide for second, and this is exactly what the 48 of Cody Lamas is really liking, because it just helps him maintain the lead. Matthews and McIntyre both got really, really loose in the center of 3 and 4, or in the center of 1 and 2, especially Matthews, as he had just lost so much ground right there. But it's still side by side between Sanford and McIntyre. Let's see which line prevails. Going to helicopter camera. Relatively even, but the bottom lane managed to get a bigger run off the corner somehow. So it seems like even if you have drafting help, it doesn't help you to get a run on the bottom off of 4. But if you're by yourself, you can get the run off of 4. But anyways, it's less than 5 laps to go here at Michigan. Lamas still leads, but they may encounter a slow car, Trent Dunham, who has been off the pace ever since that caution came out, because he was involved in that multi-car incident. Could he be a hazard for these leaders up here? I don't know. We're going to keep an eye on Trent Dunham. Let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to block the leaders, or is he going to let them go? Let's see. Looks like Lamas is going to get around him fairly quickly. In fact, almost everybody's going to get around him, and in fact they do, but Matthews gets stuck on the outside. Oh, wait a minute, is Matt McIntyre short on fuel? Is he short on fuel? Yes, he is. Oh, man. I did not put into account. Yeah, I forgot they had to pit on lap 14 going into lap 15. I completely forgot about that, and that I think just handed the win over to Cody Lamas, because there is literally no one else in his way, and he leads by over a second now over Kyle Matthews. So that might have just handed the win over to Lamas. But do these guys have enough fuel? I think they will make it on fuel, to be honest, but stranger things have happened at these kinds of racetracks. But right now, Lamas leads, but does the 42 of Matthews or anyone behind them have anything? And we got a couple new contenders up here. Park Hill and Seth Cole both now have reeled in the top 3, but I don't think they're going to be able to go for the win, though. Matthews really, really trying hard to reel in that 48 of Lamas. And he keeps going. But Lamas has that clean air right now. as the white flag is displaying how much of a margin we got now. Less than a quarter of a second separating the top two. Matthews still trying to reel in the 48, and the 48, it looked like he got a little bit tight. He got a little bit, or actually no, he got a little bit loose. I saw his car wiggle, got to get out from under him a little bit. Here comes Matthews. Can he dive it in low? And he's got help from Sanford, but we've seen that the draft on the bottom doesn't really help. Maybe it will in this situation. It's still side by side. Who's going to get this win? I don't think it's going to be Matthews Day. Checkered flag waving. Cody Lamas wins the LifeLock.com 400 at Michigan. Man, I tell you, if Matthews didn't have that draft help from Sanford, he might have had it, because it is so weird. We saw it pretty much throughout that last run there on the final few laps, that if you were running by yourself on the inside, you managed to get a huge head of steam. But if you had someone behind you, it seemed to have hindered them. So, yeah, Matthews, if he didn't have Sanford behind him, he might have had a shot at. But still, he had a great finish there at the end. And Cody Lamas, I believe that's his first win of the season, is it? Yes, it is. That is his first win of the season. But let's look at the rest of the results. Kyle Matthews, so close yet so far away from that victory that's been eluding him this season, but gets his second place finish in the last 3 races, and that's definitely going to help him out in the points. Charles Sanford comes through with a 3rd place run. Seth Cole with a solid performance in 4th, and then the highest finishing rookie, Joey Parkhill, who seemed to come out of nowhere to get a top 5 finish there at the end. Jake Rogers, great run in the 6th position. Jake Baskinger, another top 10 for him. Same with James McLeod in the 8th spot. Dylan Jacobs continuing to try and get momentum going on his side, finishing in 9th, and then Cole Deaver rounding out the top 10. Then there's the rest of your top 20, your top 30, and then the bottom 5 for this week are Jessica Sheldon, Caleb Kilburn, Tim Fiegel, Emmanuel Hartnett, and Joshua Sekuli. So those 5, unfortunately, are not going to be getting any points. And the person that's going to take the biggest hit from that, Jessica Sheldon, who came in 2nd in points, is now probably going to drop a few spots. But with that being said, thank you for watching the LifeLock.com 400 here at Michigan. I'm not sure where we're heading to next. I believe it's Pensacola, the oval Pensacola next. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Pensacola. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.